Let's get more now on the impact of these sanctions. I'm joined on the phone by Chung Min Lee. He is Dean of the Graduate School of International Studies at Yonsei University, that is in Seoul. Thanks so much for being with us. You know, there's plenty of analysis out there right now already on these sanctions, some of it calling them absolutely meaningless. What do you think?
Well, I believe the sanctions serve two purposes. First of all, it sends a very clear-cut political signal to the world that you cannot do business as usual with the North Korean regime. And secondly, despite all of what's going on here in Korea and elsewhere, the North Korean people are still suffering. So basically, we have to separate humanitarian assistance from sanctions on the regime, which remains strong and robust.
What's the message here, clearly?
Well, basically, look, Clinton and Secretary Gates were here in Seoul for the first 2+2 meeting, sending a very strong sign to North Koreans. If you cross the red line, if you provoke the South Koreans by sinking their ships, killing their seamen, or basically taking any other provocative action, the ROK-U.S. alliance will stand strong. That's message number one. Number two, they're also telling the Chinese, who were opposed to, for example, the post-Cheonan issues, that the U.S. and the ROK has the right to take issues on their own, including exercises that are ongoing at this particular time. And the third issue that we have to show the world is the North Koreans simply cannot do all these things without some type of retribution or response. You cannot have a regime that basically continues to provoke the ROK and to basically undermine stability in this region, and then everybody says everything is basically back to normal.
Yeah, you mentioned the Cheonan incident, the shooting down of this ship. Investigators say by North Korea. North Korea has denied it. What are you hearing on that? Are you sensing there'll be any cooperation between the South and the U.S. on this, or what?
Well, there has been absolutely great cooperation between Washington and Seoul. There were international investigators on that joint committee, and so there were Americans, there were Australians, British, as well as Swede nationals. And basically, the body came out with a report that said there is absolutely, incontrovertible evidence, including forensic and material evidence, that it was a North Korean torpedo that sunk the ship on March 26th. And it's gone to the UN. There was a presidential statement, and the U.S. government, including Secretary Clinton, who just announced yesterday here in Seoul that the U.S. will consider new sanctions on the regime other than on top of whatever else is going on. So the key issue here is we've got to dry up the source that basically allows North Korea to build nuclear weapons and take these actions, i.e., for example, all of these illicit monies that comes from drug trade and so forth. So cutting off the money supply is a crucial issue.
Now, China has not exactly condemned North Korea in light of this incident and the investigation. Not a big surprise, I suppose. But I'm wondering what your thoughts are about the relationship now between South Korea and China, and to what extent it might be affected by this.
I think you asked a great question. China became South Korea's largest trade partner in 2007. Our annual trade runs into the billions of dollars. This will continue to grow into the year 2015 and so forth. But our critical security alliance with the U.S. basically is the other side of the Korean story. This is the 60th anniversary of the outbreak of the Korean War. The alliance is 60 years and very, very strong. And over the years, despite the fact that we have a growing economic ties with the PRC, our security and political and democratic relations with the U.S. is even stronger. So this is something that Koreans have to balance much more adroitly in the years ahead. But I would argue very strongly that a majority, an absolute majority of Koreans view the U.S. as a crucial strategic and security partner.
Very quickly, should we expect any kind of action, any kind of retaliation from the North at this point, do you think?
I'm sure they could take a lot of other provocative actions, maybe perhaps another skirmish in the Western Sea, maybe perhaps a sending across special forces, etc. But I think if they did that, even the Chinese would basically put their feet down on the North Koreans. So for now, the key word is watch what they're doing, and we have sent very strong word through everybody else here on the ground that if the North Koreans do something really egregiously stupid, we will respond with action.